Today on TRIFLIX Fix, we break down last week's episode. Holes and stuff. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of TRIFLIX Fix. We don't have time for introductions. First question. You use Final Cut Pro a lot. Can you recommend any free editing software? To keep it short, HitFilm Express is by far the best free non-linear editing software on the market. I'll have a link to that in the description below, so check that out. And I plan on doing a video on it in the future, so watch it, learn some tutorials, learn the program, so whenever I showcase it, you guys will be a little bit ahead, and you won't be freaking out. I've noticed you oftentimes work on videos alone. Are you open to the ideas of working with others? Just because you don't see other actors on the screen doesn't mean that there aren't people helping behind the scenes. Typically, a TRIFLIX Tuesday is done by myself. I'm using a tripod. Everything's pretty stationary. But TRIFLIX Fridays, my mom usually helps by manning the camera, making sure all of me is in frame, giving voice cameos, as well as my stepdad, who offers me various camera equipment, such as the tripod you are resting upon, this computer, the mouse, the keyboard, the house, this office space. So yeah. People do help me, and I am always open to working with more. But now to answer the question, you probably want to know, how do I do the hole in hand effect, or hole in shirt and clothes effect that we did last week? And let's start that. Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and get started. For the sake of time, I already have my media dropped into my timeline, and I will be going through and checking the boxes, making them appear up on the screen, as I give you guys a narrative voiceover explaining the process. Again, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because I know your time's important, and if you guys appreciate that, let me know by liking the video. So we're going to go ahead and drop our first piece of media in the timeline. As you can see, it's got me in the background, and that's all. And without moving the camera, we're going to go ahead and drop that second clip that we had right on top. So this is actually a second recording, and the camera hasn't moved at all. And as you can see, we have these two tracking points. These are actually stickers I placed on my back. It was very helpful, and I highly suggest using these. You can get them at almost any store. They're typically used for garage sales. We're going to go ahead and analyze motion. So in order to analyze motion, we're going to go to Library, we're going to go to Behaviors, Analyze Motion. We'll drag and drop that on top of our clip, and take my point here, move that out to my pink spot, and as you can see, it'll pop up here on the tracker. And since I have two dots, I'm going to go ahead and hit Add Tracker, go down to the second tracker here on my screen, and move that up to the second dot. Now whenever I go to hit Analyze Motion, it'll track both points. So here we have the final, the tracking points that we got on these two dots. I guess I could have done a third one and possibly got some more Z direction on the body, but for now, X and Y is good. There's not too much movement in the shot. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. Next, we're going to go ahead and draw a mask that resembles a bullet hole. So you can now see through my top layer, and underneath of it is that first layer that we had before, down below. So we got this bottom layer being seen through our top layer, so we go and toggle that off. And that's what it would look like without the mask. And with the mask, you can see right through my guy. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and search online for some flesh. You want some nice skin looking like material. So you guys can see, here we have a nice flank of meat. And what we're going to do with that meat flank is we're going to draw a nice pretty mask around it. Here I got a nice crescent shape, and if you don't know how to draw masks, that's not a problem. What you're going to go ahead and do is you got your flesh selected. You're going to select down here, and you can select one of your masking tools and make whatever kind of shapes you want. I prefer to use the Bezier mask, and that'll make this mask right here, which we have selected. And next you can add some colorizing to it. In this case I did black, and I'll explain that here in a moment why I did so. But the next thing we got to do is we got to go up to our group, and we need to match the motion. You can see that black layer is not moving around. It's not following the inner side of my body. So right here would be like, I'd say some ribs would go inside the body. I suppose we could add some, but sake of time, we aren't going to be adding ribs. You can do that on your own time. So the next step we got to do, in order to make that black layer move around with that top layer, we're going to have to go to Library, and we're going to go ahead and hit Search. We'll type in Match Motion. We got our Match Move up right here. We'd go ahead and drag Match Move down onto our entire group, and here I already have it laid out. So we'd select Match Move, and we could take Analyze Motion and just drag and drop it right inside that source file. And whenever you do that, your black little file will move around and match those pink dots. So now that we got that ran, we'll go ahead and collapse that. Collapse our group 1. So now we got a nice little black shape moving around. And the next part's pretty easy. We're going to take that same flank. We'll go ahead and decollapse those. So now we got two meat flanks laying on top of each other. You're probably wondering why we got two flanks of flesh right here. We're going to go ahead and turn on one mask. Go ahead and turn on the other mask that I drew. So now we got two crescent shapes. One that looks very similar to that black outline. As you can see, that black outline does come out farther than the pink, and there's a good reason for that. We have some pink flanks that aren't matching movement like our black, so we're going to go ahead and do that match move again, like I showed you before, and drop that same source file. You're going to go ahead and take your analyze motion and drop that back into your source file again, and now we should have some moving meat and some moving black. So let's go ahead and look at what that is all together. See, we got this shirt blown off the back, and we got some meat coming out. It's an okay bullet hole. I mean, it's something you'd see in an amateur video, but there's no torn shirt, there's no blood going on, so let's go ahead and add a torn shirt layer. So here I found a torn shirt online. You go ahead and take any torn shirt. I try to find a white one to match my actor. We go ahead and apply a mask on top of that. If you want to see what that mask looks like, we just got a nice little circle matching the hole in our body, and then we're going to feather that out a little bit. That'll actually change the diameter of the shirt hole, so we can see it's smaller, bigger. So we got a ripped shirt. It doesn't blend too well with their background layer, but that's okay. Go ahead and add another layer. We have a red layer that wasn't necessarily masked, and that was because we actually used a shape tool, used the Bezier, and I went ahead and, see, we'll make them points pop up. We got a bunch of points going on, and we can go into the shape. Feathering was up to about 18. We made it look red, so maybe you are shooting an alien, and you want your alien to be green. You can turn that over here and get some green blood going on, but I'm human, so we're going to make it red. And of course, we got some red, and it's stagnant, not really moving around with everything. So you're going to do, again, as always, you're going to go ahead and get that match move dropped in. Take your analyze motion, drop that into your source file, and now we have some beautiful movement going on. And it's still a little bit lacking. So the thing we're going to do to make it look a little bit better, the thing that's going to make it heal all up nice and smooth like, is we are going to go back to our meat flanks, our beautiful meat tools. Here I will show you how to motion track something. So you can see all these red lines going on, and watch as we play through the video. You can see the red lines starting to move. And what's happening on in the video is you can see some flesh starting to heal up, to bond together. And we're doing that with both layers now. So that one's going to shrink back at the same time this one blows forward. And the way you do that is you have all these small control points that make up your mask. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to select this little delete keyframe is my option, but you guys are going to go ahead and create a keyframe. And once you create your keyframe, you're going to go ahead to the next point in your timeline. So I went down about 30 seconds or so. We're going to go ahead and create another keyframe. And that first keyframe has all of those original locked points. So we got this really large crescent shape. And once you go forward, you can start moving all of your points out farther. Move those around. And that'll get a nice translation of movement. So as the video plays out, you'll see the movement of the dots play forward. You'll do that with both lines. Even without them, it doesn't look too great. So you can see it start to close up, and then we got some pink skin going on. And the way to correct the colorizing, you can play that all the way through, and you'd have some pretty pink skin. It looks like I got some third-degree burns. We're going to turn on some colorizing. We're going to go to filters, and we're going to type in colorizing into your search bar down at the bottom. We're going to drag colorizing down on our timeline. And as you can see, we'll go into the inspector here, and we can start remapping colors. I went ahead and changed red, since it's the original color of our blood, and I went ahead and wanted to remap it to a more skin color. So you can go ahead and find a more skin color. Yellow seems to work better since you're changing red to yellow. And as this plays through, you can see your skin closing up, and then you'll see the colors change to a yellow skin. But it still looks like I got a really bad skin disease. It doesn't match the rest of my skin. So what we do is add this beautiful rectangle layer. All I did was made a new shape, and you drop a rectangle in there. And once you got your rectangle in, you could actually change the color manually, but I prefer to do colorizing since we are going to be keyframing it. So you can keep the color whatever you want, but we're going to go to colorize, turn on colorize. And you can see we got remap, and we're taking that skin color. I got that skin color by hitting the selector and going down and selecting the skin color we got here. and that's how we get that nice pink. And then what we want to remap it to is we're going to go down the timeline. And what I prefer to do is just play around with it. You can see what works better. Since you got it already at such a high level of tan, there's not much more you can do with it. You can just try to match skin tones the best. But for what my skin tone matched was actually a violet purple color. I don't know what'll work for you and your skin color. I don't feel like getting into skin colors too much. Just follow these quick tips. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this one time through. So we got some movement going on, some shadowing, making it look like my body's pretty deep. And then we got some healing going on. And it changes to a nice skin tone. It's not the most accurate, but again, this is a quick video. If you guys want to spend more time on it, I know you guys can do a great job and make it look incredibly realistic. But I hope this was a helpful tutorial, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Appreciate it. Sponsor time! I want to personally thank Andy Car Design for all the sick logos they provided us with, as well as design help. Andy Car Design, best design on this side of the Mississippi. So to conclude, I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible. If you liked it, let me know by liking the video. If you want to see more like it, subscribe. And if you guys want me to answer any of your questions or do an episode on a specific topic, leave that in the comment section below. Send it to me on Twitter. And guys, don't stop working hard.